Good morning to you from Arizona, or whatever time this video is reaching you. I wanted to do a impromptu, unfiltered, unedited video. It's all related to something I'm going through. I have a morning ritual of sorts. I get up early and I have some agendas like reading, studying, and just doing some self-examination in the quiet before I begin my day. And one of the things that keeps coming up for me is what I perceive about how I feel about things that are going on in my life. Is I was just taking some notes on some feelings that I'm processing around my past. There was something really powerful that I'm busy trying to work through as a tool to get those feelings in a good place. So I thought I would just jump right on and share what the tool is and what I'm going through, what I'm doing to move through my emotions. The emotion is basically, I'm not good enough. It's sadness, it's fear, it's kind of a mixture of a number of things. Now, here's the thing about what I know about feelings. Feelings are not who I am. They're a part of my experience. And so when I know that I have a strong feeling, whether it's labeled positive or negative, that's not important. It's just that it's true. It's something I'm really feeling. The feeling is only there because there's a label attached. And this video is meant to help you understand the importance between how you feel about things and the labels that we put on them. Here's the big distinction. What happened to me as a kid doesn't matter. And I'm not saying that, let me just go through this. What happened to me as a kid doesn't matter. It's the label that I put on what happened that matters, because it's the label that my mind used to try to understand what was going on. Have you ever noticed in life you can be a part of an experience with other people, and every single person in that group has a different idea of what just happened? That's all really in simplest terms because of the labels that were put on it. The experience was probably, if we were to all write down specifically what happened, we'd probably all get the same information. So it's not the information that's important, it's how we labeled it. For instance, as a kid, I moved, I went to 18 different schools. My family wasn't in the military, I had a single mom growing up through the 70s, and life was very challenging. And so that, moving a lot, plus all the turmoil that just goes on with the kind of a person that needs to move a lot like my mom did, what happened was there was lots of drama, as I would label drama, uncertainty. Things didn't go to plan. There was usually a lack of funds, or there was always something missing. But the moving around, the upheaval, the constant change, the lack of me being able to build roots or really connect to people, that was the data. But what was really important was how I labeled it. And that's the battle that I've been working on for most of my adult life since I started really taking personal development seriously. The label that I put on all of the uncertainty was, I don't matter. You see the distinction? So my brain was, my senses, my whole body was taking in all this data, moving, saying goodbye to friends, being a new kid in a school again, having a new room, having a whole new neighborhood, not knowing people, watching my mom struggle to find a new job, or maybe she'd meet some guy and he'd be a problem. All of that was the data, but my brain came up with the label, which is, you must not matter. Now, of course, remember, I was maybe 8 years old when my brain came up with this idea. So I'm not saying that this idea was genius. It was the capacity of a brain that had only been existing in the 3D world for about 8 years. So it came up with, I got it. This is how we handle what's going on here. This is how we explain all the uncertainty and the craziness. If you mattered, then these things wouldn't happen. If a parent really cared about their kid, if their child really mattered, they wouldn't do these things. Therefore, we don't matter. So whatever you want, whatever you feel, whatever you're thinking, however this is affecting you, it clearly doesn't matter. So go on with moving forward with that understanding. Do you see the difference? My invitation to you is to think about the memories that keep persisting in your mind that may be painful or difficult, and ask yourself, what is the label that I put on it? Because that's the work right there, is to work on the label. Because when that label gets piled on as a little kid, when it gets attached to the data as a little kid, then we spend the rest of our adult life and our development through, our teenage years and puberty and elementary school, high school. As we move through into adulthood, we just stack more evidence of that label being true based on how we live. So as a young man who subconsciously, unconsciously had come up with the idea I don't matter, you could see evidence of that playing out in my life. And my conscious mind had no idea this was going on. So my invitation is, think of just one thing, one memory, one situation in your life that seems to repeat itself. Go back to the data and just look at it. Look at it like you're just watching a documentary and it had nothing to do with you. The trick is to find what kind of a label did you put on that data? What kind of a label did you put on how to interpret what was going on and how that affects you? Again, your work is to deal with the label, not try to change what happened. You can't do that. But what's great is the label is still as present now as it ever was when you were a little kid and it got installed. What's really cool about the way the brain works when you do this work, you can go underneath that gigantic lifetime of stacks of information and go right down to that base, that label where it began, and just start tugging on it. And eventually you can pull it out like a fucking Jenga block, and it's powerful. Now, I'm not saying that this one little 8-minute video is going to change your life, but what I would like to believe is that I planted a seed. Because when I understood this concept was at play, it gave me more tools and more empowerment to move forward and do something different than the way I would normally handle my feelings. So if I had feelings about my past, now I can look for the label that I put on it, start tugging on it, and seeing what else comes undone. So if you like these kinds of conversations, I plan on doing a lot more of these impromptu, unedited videos and just let the free form of what's present as I do my own work and share with you what I'm going through. I hope it helps, and I'll see you in the next video.